I did, to my patrons, say that he acted like a bitch on Jillian Michaels' show, and he has acted like a bitch. He has every right to not want to ask me back. Again, the firing language is a little bit insane because I'm like, I've never been an employee, but okay.
Francesca Fiorentini was a guest on the Vanguard show. Those guys are getting a lot of great interviews over there. And she was talking about the recent news that Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks banned Francesca from their network. This kind of blew up over the weekend. She's made videos. Cenk has made a video, and she went on to further elaborate with the guys at the Vanguard. So we're going to take a look at clips of Francesca Fiorentini talking about her time at the Young Turks. I'm going to share my thoughts about what I think about all of this too. Let's check it out together.
And I also think, I think to Zach's point, no, I don't think Cenk is a good businessman. I think he is both a shitty boss in a lot of ways and a bad businessman. And he wants to be over and across everything, constantly talking. And to be fair, I mean, it's probably better than him trying to run for office again.
Oh, yeah. What a humiliation.
The Vanguard will be there.
Oh, 100%. And to kind of branch out on that, one of the things he tried to use you as an example of was how good of a boss he was, of how good an employer was. I remember
right.
You criticized him a little bit, and he went on this and don't you ever imply that people who worked at TYT aren't happy with it. We have tons of very enthusiastic people, and they love TYT. We did a video about how, so-and-so's desk has comic book stuff because they like comic books. We care here. And a question I had prepped for you is Cenk likes to advertise that, you shouldn't criticize the Young Turks because they are employers of 75 hardworking people. And I wondered how many of those people he's considering outwardly are his employees when he's paying them like a contractor. In your experience, were there 75 employees at the Young Turks plus contractors? Or is it really that large of a staff?
I don't think it's... I would imagine it's something, between 50 and 70 full-time. That makes sense to me. There's people in Philly. There are people working on Rebel HQ. But I would also imagine, I don't think those are, it's a good question. And this is the other thing about TYT. Obviously, I'm not like I'm not like a whistleblower or anything. I don't know enough about, how the company is run because I've simply been a contractor and increasingly would not go into studio. I don't want to, fight LA traffic at 3 p.m. on a Friday. But I do know that it is an incredibly opaque organization. So nobody knows how the other side of the company is being run. Nobody has privy to anything. I mean, and that's sort of how Cenk likes it. And I think that's probably what Anna had problems with, but just, without naming names, I know that others also have problems with that. It's like, I don't know. It's whatever they tell me. Sure. Why not? And so I also think I know when I was hired, when I started getting paid for my appearances, I was told by the head of programming, don't tell anybody that you're getting paid.
See, that's shady, right? That's bad boss behavior. That's that's totally on the side of the corporation. And this might be news to you, but one of the, not like news to you, but just like it's something we followed for a long time as far as the financing of TYT. And I don't know how much of this was ever something that came across your plate, but in 2017, obviously they took the financing round from 3L Capital, which was led by Jeffrey Katzenberg, and they got $20 million, right? Jeffrey Katzenberg, big anti-homeless advocate in Los Angeles, right? A guy that spends a lot of time with the Gavin Newsom approach to homelessness. There was another gentleman, Joseph Sandberg, contributed millions of dollars and is still listed on the Young Turks website. That guy was recently arrested for fraud, but the Young Turks did no coverage of it. He's also deeply involved in the Gavin Newsom style anti-homeless clean up the streets of Los Angeles kind of coverage. In October of 2022, Cenk Uygur obviously publicly endorsed billionaire real estate tycoon Rick Caruso over Karen Bass. And in May of 2024, they renamed the People's Studio, which had been fundraised with $400,000 in small dollar donations, to take an unannounced, unclarified, non-public sum from Polymarket Studios. And that's owned by Peter Thiel and is obviously illegal to use in America. I'm wondering if you think because Cenk has the pressure on him from all of these outside financiers that might have something to do with the tonal change that we've seen in TYT over the last decade.
Before Francesca gets into her answer here, I would like to say that's really interesting about Jeffrey Katzenberg having given this money and him being this anti-homeless guy or advocate. I don't know if advocate is the correct term there or not, when that's what everybody points to, and Ana Kasparian points to herself, the switch that she made over leaving the left or moving over to the right or whatever was because she was attacked by a homeless person. So that's kind of interesting that you also have this money in there of an anti-homeless guy. Interesting. One thing I want to go back to, something they said there earlier, was about Cenk saying that you can't criticize them because they're employing 75 people. That's the exact same argument that the right is making right now about people criticizing and protesting against Tesla, that, oh, these are American jobs, so you can't criticize them.
I mean, yeah, that is also a massive question, and I really don't want to speak like out of pocket about any of that, because I honestly don't know. I just know how it's come down on people. And I do think that the change in coverage, the change in tone from someone like Ana has definitely impacted the number of people who've joined up, who support it. I mean, it's not anecdotal when you see I canceled my TYT subscription. No. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people saying they canceled their TYT subscription. And I was kind of running cover for them. I mean, a little bit, especially with friends, who are like, this is terrible. Especially around the birthing person stuff with Ana, I wasn't running cover for her, but it was like, I definitely bristle at least I very much did, because I felt a part of it, at the lumping of all TYT together. TYT is transphobes, TYT is this or that. And it's like, no, there are good people, but like the main mouthpieces are just kind of caricatures of the internet and have lost their minds slowly. So like, that I always, was wanting to push back on. In terms of the money, it is a good question. Again, I think what matters is just like how people have felt about it. I mean, I do know that they made a massive hiring push, when they got that infusion of money. But at the same time, canceled a bunch of shows that were in existence already. That may or may not have been the right move. They focus less on pop culture and more on politics. I don't know, right? Around 2018, as I talked about, I was hired for like a 6-month basis, which was funny because then tracking that 2018, like spring, early summer, they did mass layoffs. So it seems like now maybe my hiring was we got a gap here because we fired a bunch of people. I worked there for 2 weeks and they were like, just kidding. No, sorry. We're not doing it. We're pivoting. We're pivoting and we can't honor your contract. I had a 6-month contract. 2 weeks into it, they canceled it. And again, my reps were like, you got to sue. Like, this is really bad. And I was like, I don't want to. It's 2018. It's the height of the Bernie movement. Like, I like them. I'm moving to Los Angeles for other reasons. Like, I'd like to keep a good relationship. I know I have a strongly worded email to Steve-O and to Cenk. Like, this is insanely unprofessional. What are you guys doing? So that's how it, I think that's how the mismanagement affected me. But
that's a horrible thing to do to somebody, just for people who are outside of the business. Sure. Like, that sucks. Like, that's really, really bad. And potentially you could have been in a worse situation where you do decide to move to Los Angeles.
In any type of business, that would be a horrible way to do things. You don't hire somebody for a 6-month contract and then after 2 weeks just say, oh, we changed our mind, like Francesca Fiorentini is saying they're doing. That's no way to run a business.
Just uproot yourselves and then, so exactly. For a company that touts itself as progressive, for a company that touts itself as somebody who's going to, really treat people well, that's
honor your contracts. It's pretty simple. But yeah, I think the money is a big TBD, and I don't think it matters. Like, I mean, it like saying poly market is absolutely, it's right there. It's in your face. Like, what are you going to do? And like, they really don't have a good line. I think that they should just embrace it. Be like, yeah, you know what? Honestly, we're doing this to keep the lights on, and hey, you could help us by joining up. And if the people aren't joining, then maybe they don't like what they're seeing. And so what's interesting is I'm also a more costly contributor to them. I think my rate is higher than most people, right? And so it's economically beneficial to also let me go as well. They were never going to, again, they could have tacitly just never had me on the main show. I go on John's show once a week. That's fine. They financially could handle that. But it feels like almost implicitly, it's like Anna, let's be real, Anna's, and then increasingly Cenk's like terrible coverage. Like you could draw maybe not a direct, but an indirect line into like the letting go of someone like me, and we're like, sorry, times are tight, you know. And again, I am not here to say they should have kept me on. I did, to my patrons, say that he acted like a bitch on Jillian Michaels' show, and he has acted like a bitch. He has every right to not want to ask me back. Again, the firing language is a little bit insane because I'm like, I've never been an employee, but okay. And then obviously the like banning of other shows. I've got a great relationship with John, or at least I thought I did. And I had a great relationship, with Dr. Richie.
So I'm going to stop here. This is just about half the video. If you want to watch the whole thing, you can go to the Vanguard channel. It's about 20 minutes long, but a couple of points. I mean, it does seem that Cenk Uygur just apparently is not that great of a businessman. I mean, he was built up TYT to where it has 6 million subscribers and all that, which is great for them. The thing that I've never understood is they seem to be so thin-skinned. Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian will get into arguments with people on Twitter. And why not just ignore the people that they would view as the trolls or their critics or whatever? They have 6 million subscribers. So they're, the biggest channel or one of a few of the biggest channels of their kind. So I don't know why they worry about these kind of small, in terms of audience size, people around them, like Francesca. Francesca, I think, maybe has 150,000 subscribers or something on her channel, the Bitchuation Room. And she talks about that she has a fraction of their subscribers. So I don't really know why they really care so much about what their critics say. I guess, the big thing is they are losing audience share. But in terms of the way they run things, I've never heard of a company paying someone and then the people there saying to the person, yeah, don't let the management or whatever know that you're being paid. That makes absolutely no sense. But let me know what you think about all this. What do you feel about how this is all shaken out with Francesca Fiorentini and Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian? Do you think this is the last we'll hear of this? I think for the both of them, Francesca Fiorentini and with the Young Turks, these videos that they've made about each other have been among the most viewed videos that they've had for quite some time. So maybe they'll continue to do these. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like, at least on Cenk's side, that he has anything to gain by this, by continuing to go over and over and over this, if he does. I don't know. Let me know what you think about all this. Are you a fan? Were you, or are you still a fan of the Young Turks and Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian? Are you a fan of Francesca Fiorentini? Where do you fall on the feud here? Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. This is Chris on Culture, and I'll see you in the next video.